The last biography I wanted to mention was the Randy Savage one that they just put out. What do you think the fans should know about Randy Savage?
Well, when he first came to WWE and with Elizabeth and stuff, he was, and he didn't live that far from me in Florida, and we visit a lot together, and him and Elizabeth come down and hang out with Julie, my wife Julie, and myself, but as time went on, so to speak, he got more and more into himself, and he would lock Elizabeth away from everybody, and he would be there with her. He never dressed in the same dressing room, so it wasn't the same. He became a different Macho Man, so to speak. So he was hard to talk to. I only had to wrestle him one time, maybe twice. I think it was at Wrestlemania 4. Yeah, we were doing a tournament for the World Championship, and I went over Steamboat, and then I worked with Randy, and Randy would like to talk the matches out, but he knew I didn't like it. I knew the ending, and he knew the ending. I don't do spots out there. It's all ad lib. I don't believe in that because I believe, we've been, up to that point, I've been wrestling, and him too. We've been in the ring 15, 20 years. I mean, come on, you don't need to set up spots. Maybe one little spot, but we didn't have anything set up. That's the way I like it, and it turned out good. I thought it was a great match. He has a way of rushing things. I know how to stop that, I just don't move, so. But he's had great matches. Some of the best were with Ricky Steamboat. And I've had a lot of good ones with Ricky Steamboat too, so. But I think that's really the one and only match we had. And yeah, I'm glad we at least had that, yeah.
Do you remember a few years ago, I guess it was around WrestleMania 25, when the movie The Wrestler had come out with Mickey Rourke?
Mm-hmm.
Had you ever been contacted about wrestling that WrestleMania? There was a story that had been out that Vince McMahon wanted you, Roddy Piper, and Jimmy Snuka to be against Chris Jericho at that WrestleMania, but then they ended up changing it and putting Ricky Steamboat there instead. Do you remember any of this at all?
Faintly remember it. Yeah, they're going to bring us back. Piper didn't want to work, and I would have worked, but I wasn't really too interested in doing it, but the payday would have been nice. But anyway, Steamboat ended up doing it, and he got hurt really bad. He caught somebody coming out the top rope or something and hurt his neck really bad. And but he was okay, but he told me the story, and it was scary. I mean, he had to go, had his brain looked at and everything. I mean, it was like a real bad concussion that he got. He fell back on his head, or he was catching a guy. But here's the deal, you're not wrestling much. You're doing independence here and there, and then you go on in a stage like that. I believe that was in Houston, and a big stage like that, and then you got all the nervousness going on, and everybody's trying to do the right thing, and you end up getting hurt because you're not used to being out there all the time. Steamboat got hurt really bad. He's fine now, but he told me that story. Yeah.
Can you talk about Ricky Steamboat as a wrestler and performer? Because you guys went way back from, the Mid-Atlantic days to, to the WWF. How solid was he in the ring to work with?
So he came out of Florida, and I believe he lived in Florida, and he broke in down in Florida. Then he came up to the Carolinas. I think the guy was only wrestling or something for a year and a half, and they put him right in that top spot. I mean, when I broke in, and it was a slow process for me, and it took me really 5 years to really get where I wanted to be. And then after around 6 years, when I came in as Flair's partner after my dad was hurt in a plane crash to take that big jump into Mid-Atlantic in that top spot. I'm 6 years into wrestling. But Steamboat, year and a half, he was already, it's polished, right? So 6, 7 years for me to get polished for main event slot. Steamboat had it done in a year and a half. I mean, he picked up on it quick, big time. And it was always fun working with him. Good man, good guy. He was one of the best.